Okay, we got the other Viking here. It came from a matching pair I bought a couple weeks ago. I got one of them running and this one came as a non-runner. So it has compression. The guy said it was blown up. I don't think it's blown up or it wouldn't have compression, or maybe it does. We're gonna find out. So if we can actually get this thing going, then the 200 bucks I paid for these two engines would be a good deal. If we can't get it going, we'll use it for parts and not as good a deal, but whatever. So let's get right into it. I haven't even touched this thing yet, other than pull on the cord when I first got it to show that it had compression. So we will begin right now. I guess we'll start by taking the cover off. The cowling's in good shape, which is always nice to see. And here we go. Let's see what we got. What treats wait for us in here. Cowling's in really good shape. This one doesn't run, the other cowling's getting it. Okay, we got... It actually looks kind of clean. This hasn't been messed with like the last one, so happy about that. We got an old spark plug. Awesome. Two old spark plugs. They're champions. Come on. They're not champions. They are Autolite. Interesting. So two obscure spark plugs. Maybe they'll work in this engine, maybe they won't. But I always like the treats you find playing with these things. Anyway, onward. We have a couple spiders, a fuel pump that'll need to be replaced. Yeah, nothing too incredible to be found in there. Now, one problem I'm having is the twist throttle isn't twisting. It's really gummed up, so we'll have to sort that out. And it doesn't want to go into gear. So it's out of the lower unit is all bunged up. Wow, it's corroded. Bit of corrosion in the plug caps. ×2. Let's take a look down those plug holes and see what we got. We're gonna spray a bunch of crap in there before I start pulling on it. Okay, start with these plugs there. I can handle them. I think it was, doesn't look too great, but there's one. That one doesn't look too great either. There's two. A little bit of this, and a little bit of that. Let's see how it feels when you pull at it. Well, it turns smoothly. That's for sure. Let's try a compression tester. You get a front row seat to this. Okay. I have no idea. It's got compression. Okay, 120 on the top. That's promising. For the bottom. There's something there too. $120 on the bottom. So that's really good. Yeah, a lot of people's version of blown up when it comes to two-stroke could be different. So when I hear blown up, I think catastrophic failure, like throwing rods or melting pistons or whatever. So this guy's version of blown up could be a locked up bottom end. So, or a burned out coil or something. I don't know, but this should run. I guess we'll test for spark next, eh? These wires are so poorly corroded that I can't in good conscience use them without clipping the ends and reseating them. So I'll clean them up a bit. Reinsert these guys. Hook up the plugs. And clip back the wires. Then we'll check for spark. Okay, so we're clipping back these wires. I'm just going to take about an inch off each one. We're throwing these guys back on. And you got to make sure you hit the wire core or you're not making a good connection. So try and get it to the center as best you can. You can kind of feel it when you hit it usually. I think we got it. Do it for the second one. So you got to get it started, then make sure you go straight through the center. So you pierce the core. Yeah. Okay, and I like to use dielectric grease for all these connector type things. It helps the boot slide on a little better. I guess I should have put it on before. All right, we are back. So dielectric grease on. Try and get these boots back where they gotta go. And once you get the grease on, they all just slide and usually cooperate pretty well. So there's one. Here is two. There. And those are on. So let's see if we got spark. So, first plug. So nothing. Try the bottom. Or the top. So nothing on the bottom. I see nothing. I hear nothing, so that means we're getting into her. One of those guys, eh? Like we have another strong man on our hands who is into this. Maybe you get it with the punch and an awl and a hammer. Yeah, there it goes. There's one. I'll show you what I did. I'll do it to the other. I think this could fall into the realm of pro tip. Can you see? There you go. Let's look at this. It's a really pointy chisel. And you just catch the edge of the fastener with the point, make a little hole, and once you get a hole or a dimple, then you can kind of go with the way the screw turns, and the shock and force can free it up like I just did with the other one. That's what I'm doing. There it goes. We have turnage. Or breakage. No, turnage. Because there was no socket I had that was getting on that guy. I didn't feel like putting heat to it because it's kind of pretty. Okay, recoil looks very, very new. Even the rope's not all mangled. See, still looks good. And look, like this cord, it hasn't even been pulled out that much. So this engine does not, I don't think, have many hours on it. It has lots of compression. Why am I even reaching for this screwdriver? You know these won't turn off. Because so maybe these things haven't even been off. Could that be the thing? Could that be it? Yeah, what am I doing? This is impact. This is impact wrench territory. Impact driver. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. Maybe cracked coils. Could that be it? Or condenser. How do they look down there? Because those spark plugs, they looked pretty melted. Well, not melted. Yeah, also melted. Yeah, that coil is torn to rat shit. As is that one. I can show you now, but this is coming off in 2 seconds, so I'll have a cool clip sequence of this thing coming off as I do. There's a couple of coils for you. How's the flywheel look? There's our flywheel. It looks pretty good. Our key is there. So maybe this is just another case of cracked coils. So I'm sure y'all can see from that these coils are completely dusted. So we are going to remove them, and I have 2 coils that I can jam in here. So we will remove them. The points look pretty good. And I understand that with condensers, they either work or they don't. So I'm going to start with points, or sorry, start with the coils. See if we got spark. If we don't, we'll change out the points and condensers. And this time I'll try not to mush one of the wires like I did last time for the coil. It's all about routing. Yeah, I got some shrink wrap for the wire I mushed, and I've since repaired that coil. Oh yeah. The old Star Screwdriver Bandit. At it again. While I'm doing this, I might as well take the whole plate off and see if I can fix that throttle not wanting to turn issue. I think we'll do that. That way it all comes off. So it's in, oh, could that, what's this? So it's in neutral now, but the throttle plate thinks it should be in reverse. Is it just that easy? I'll show you what I mean. The gear selector is straight up and down, right? But this throttle plate, that should not be there when the gear selector is like that. So there's probably a bit of tension coming from this onto that plate. So if I push it back to here, that might bring it where it's got to go. So I'm going to dust off a pry bar and see if I can just quickly fix that. Oil brakes on. Been known to happen as well. Ah, yes. Come on, you. Hopefully this resounding clack. See if that helps things. Okay. And we're twirling. Will it go into gear now? Press forward. this be like a eureka moment? Wouldn't that be something? Okay, so we're turning. Maybe it'll go in reverse. Okay, it's in reverse. And it's turning. Wow. Neutral works. Forward works. I'll show you. There's forward. There's neutral. And the rad reverse. So that is incredible. There's minimal slop on that. Everything feels really good after except coils flying all over the place. But yeah, change the coils, check for spark, check for oil at the lower end. I think this is going to run without any major repairs. So yeah, back to the coil. That was a huge distraction, but in my opinion, worth it. Can't work under these conditions, can you? There you go. So I'm in it for the people. Okay. That's pretty good. That's not slopping around. So I'm just gonna change it to coils. That's really stellar, guys. This engine seems low hour too, which is huge. So it looks like we're into cleaning carbs and changing oil and redoing seals if there's a ton of water in there. And obviously the coils. So yeah, let's do this quickly. Well, no, let's not do it quickly. Every time I do something quickly, I mess something up. So let's do it deliberately. Is that even a coil? No, that's not. Get out of here. Okay. Coil number 1. Out you go. Oh yeah. Man. One coil for the trash. Oh man. 2 coils for the trash. All right, so I got my 2 coils here. Here's the one I mushed. I've heat shrink, put heat shrink around the wire. I know I could have electrical taped it, but I've read anecdotally that electrical tape arcs at, I don't know, 10,000 volts. And the sparks at more than 10,000 volts. So I want to eliminate all possibilities of arcing, because I don't like getting zapped when trying to start an engine. And I like my engines to start. So no grounds. So we're just getting this coil in where it's got to go, into the wire. And now without smushing anything, let's route this wire away from all the trauma. Okay, that screw will catch, that screw will check. Hey, we got an oiler too. How do you like that? An oiler that's functioning. Screws. 1, 2, 3. 3 screws, right? Yeah. So yeah, this coil, it's by CDI. I hear good things about these coils. And they're very reasonably priced. I think it's like 50 bucks for 2. Okay, I'm not smushing that wire. So far we're winning. The only thing I don't like about them is their leads aren't really close to what the OEM is. But for the price and their reputation, I guess that's okay. Good reputation, good price, long leads. Something's got to give, right? Now there's these little bosses. These guys, you got to make sure that the end of this yellow bit is flush with those bosses, or your flywheel could rub up against it. There's a tool for it, but I don't think you need it. And it's not like down to like 1/100th of a or 1/1000th of an inch tolerance. Like, just get it close to the boss. Get it flush. Flush it up, you know? I never know what to do with these wires. Too long. Or hopefully he'll stay out of the way. Okay. So this coil will not go anywhere. Let's move on to the OEM one. So the deal is, you want to line up, you can probably see this side better. It says top here, and there's a little arrow. You line up the highest point on the point, or on the cam. This is the cam. It says top on it, right there. And you line up the highest point with the little arm there. There's a nylon tip on the arm. That's what you line up. You've seen it in my... It's not difficult to find. It's in other videos of mine and everyone else's. 20 thou. That's what you set the point to. So we go in with the feeler gauge, and that's bang on. There's just very slight resistance, which means it's good. I'm doing the exact same thing to the other side. It looks good. And it is a little tight, so I gotta loosen that guy off. And when you loosen it with this screw here. When you turn that screw, it moves up and down. First you crack. First you break it free by turning that, just to give it some movement, and then you turn it with that screw. Can I get you a shot of there? Okay, yeah, we'll do it like this. You can see it all. So we break this. Steady. That loosens the points up. And then you move them in and out by turning this guy. So you can see the points there, and we just want to ease them out a bit. So that's out. Going with the feeler gauge. There is zero drag there, so I went a little far. Turn it in a bit. Back in with the feeler gauge. And a bit more. I think that's it. That's it. And then you gotta tighten this guy up again. But then after you tighten it, you gotta check that you're still good. And that's still good. There you go. That's how you set the points on this guy. So now it's just a matter of putting it all back together, and then we'll check for spark. And we are done. Oops, sorry. All right. Let's go. These nice short leads. Go. Excuse me. Okay, that's the second point. Now have some brake cleaner just to hit the contacts. So it opens up, paper goes in. And they look pretty clean. Okay, that's the crap that came off. We'll move on to, oh, I gotta put some oil on the oiler. Let's not forget that. Interested to hear what you guys use for oil for these things. Is it just like SAE? I'm gonna use just a drop of gear oil here. There. Let's put another drop. I'm like Bruce Campbell in the alternate ending of Army of Darkness. Wake up a million years from now. Okay. Come on, man. There we go. If we have spark, guys, this will be a huge win. That means I got this engine for $100. Hopefully the lower unit will only require the seal stuff I have. Will it spark if I just spin it? You can see the lead. Gotta get some good shadow there. Okay, the spark, spark, spark. Okay, that one works. Easy. Easy. Spark. No spark. Well, that's a pain. Okay. We'll take it off. And probably get at that later tonight. Anyway. Alright, it's the next day. And we weren't having spark on the top one, I think. So what we gotta do is take off the recoil, and I'm gonna change coils first. Ow. Just shocked myself. Yeah, there we go. So top sparks. I'm gonna change coils around and see if the problem moves. So yes, that's where I'm gonna start with that, and then from there throw in condensers and points at it, or maybe one at a time. Anyway, let's see what happens. Okay, so I switched around the two coils. That way, if the problem follows the coil, we'll know it's the coil that's at fault. And I'll have to order one of those. I'm hoping it's not the coil, because I don't have a spare coil on me, and I have lots of other spare parts in terms of points and condensers. So let's take a look. And let's see if we get spark on, what are we looking for? The bottom. We're hoping the top still has spark. That's what we're hoping for. Okay, the top still has spark. That's pretty good. And the bottom, maybe we'll have spark now. Who knows? So that's a win. That means we can, I'm gonna replace the condenser. And nothing there. So odds are the condenser and the points. One of the two. We're gonna change. I'm gonna change the condenser first and see if that helps. So yeah, we'll start with the condenser. What do you think? Think that did it? %? 50%? I'll go 50% because there's 2 components to change. Change out the points. Okay, so these should just drop in, but I've been fooled before with aftermarket points. Let's take a look, eh? Okay, I think you can see what I'm doing from there. We gotta screw, well, first we gotta back out this one. And this one right here, the one you use to crack, to move the points, that one comes out, and the whole thing should just lift out, if I remember. Oh yeah, there's a C-clip, I think. You got a little, there, this guy, I think that's got to move out too. It's all about flinging little bits into the engine. Come on, you. Okay, and there we go. And of course the 2 are different. So this one has a little stud there. It looks like it fits in a hole to pivot on. This one has this post here. Maybe it's pressed in, but anyway, this stud's coming out. I'm gonna take it out and then just insert this thing. There we go. But this stud's coming out. I gotta take that circlip off, push the stud through, and then this whole thing will fit over it all. So, on y va. So this guy just comes out. Try not to. Just a bit of pressure from the screwdriver. So I'm going to clamp it from here. This should just pull out. Oh, there's a screw I gotta get rid of. Of course, it's a Phillips. Always a Phillips. There's the spring and the points there. I have a feeling that this will just hammer out with a little love tap. And I mean little. There we go. So now that I've de-studded that, I can put it all together. Try not to touch the contacts, obvi. And send it careening across the garage, as we do. Get my screw started. Then get it finished. There, now at least it's one piece now. So now next, there, it's one piece again. I don't have to worry about losing bits and bobs. Okay, back to the engine. Hopefully this all goes on as it should. Like that. There. Now get my little fancy clip to hold it all down. I was just adjusting the light and now I can't see anything. Okay, the clip's on. And now the screw. Have to make sure that wasn't the screw from the, oh, I guess we want to leave it a little loose. Okay, now we're looking for 20 Gs of spacing. So we got to reset that. Okay. So what is this? You just not want to adjust that far? Is that the deal? Okay. They're a little finicky, but they should work. Will they close? Yeah. Not opening. Okay, let's see if I got the right tolerance. So yeah, the adjuster on these guys was on the engine. It wasn't working with this set of points, so it had to work in combination with the screw that tightens it down. That's close. I gotta move them in a bit. See, that's 20 Gs right there. Okay, I'll take that. That's good. All right, now hopefully, after I get all these wires hooked up, hopefully they'll want to work. So since it wasn't the condenser, should I put the old condenser back on? Would that be, no, I'll do that after to see if it sparks enough. Because I'd rather use OEM stuff as much as I can. I'd rather use it, but I'd rather not pay for it. How do you like that? Maybe I should stick with the new one. I just want to confirm if it works or not, so that that way it eliminates confusion down the road when this happens again. Because if that condenser, that used condenser works, then I could reuse it. Points, I tell you. The best. Okay, let's lightly put on. Is it all hooked up? Yeah. Flywheel back. I'll let that brake cleaner blow off and then I'll be right back. All right, let's see what the deal is. It should spark, right? I saw a spark. Okay. Is that the bottom? It is the bottom. Okay. Give you something to look at. That's the bottom. Here's the top. So we're in business. We all know what's going to happen now. Now we're going to throw gas into the cylinders and listen to how this guy sounds. So this plug works. Well, I guess we gotta tighten everything down proper. We should do that first. So I'll be right back after I do that. All right. Here we go. Oh. I like it. Cool. Guess we'll see if there isn't any oil in the lower unit and go from there. So I think this thing is gonna run and is working out much better than I expected. That's great. All right, lower unit. All right, I got everything important in that shot here. Okay, I got my Javex. My Javex bottle. And let's crack this, see how much water's in it. Bit of dust. There's water in there. How much? Not much. Looks pretty old. Then you take this screw, it lets it all out. Oh yeah. The oil looks pretty good. A little old, but there's no like shavings in it or anything. That looks pretty yucky though. Well, that's gonna drain. Oh yeah, there's no shaft on that. That's right. We can remedy that by putting one on. The old shear pin. Fill out that drain, set you up with a shear pin. I'm gonna hook up my contraption and listen for leaks. And if I don't hear any, I'm gonna fill it with oil and see how it does after a little bit in the water. But it's holding well. Right now I got it at about 15. See how long that holds for. So yeah, I'll be back in like 10 minutes. If it holds up, I'm gonna leave it. Okay, it's been about 10 minutes and it's holding just a little under 15 according to Schwinn. So I'm gonna try running this without going through the gear case this time, and I'll check after I run it in the water. That's the actual apparatus leaking, not the gear case. And yeah, and see if it holds up. If it takes in a bit of water, I'll have to change the lower unit bits, but I'm pretty confident it will not. So I guess it's the carburetors and the impeller that we got to do next. So let's do that. I'm not going to go into detail on how to get the lower unit off. It's in my last Viking video. It's an easy day, but you can watch me do it, and maybe maybe that's all I need, just see the procedure from afar. Okay, again, this isn't anything you guys haven't seen before, but if you're watching for the first time, these screws come out. Okay. So those 3 screws, this O-ring's got to come off. You got to be gentle with it. So as I proceed to mangle it. This O-ring fits up into the engine. You don't want to break it. I don't think it seals too much, but nevertheless, the less parts you break, the better. Okay, back here, this housing should come right off with the impeller, which has a bunch of broken fins. And look, now imagine you ran that for a time in the water. Guess where those fins were gonna go? Right up in your water jacket. So I got 1, 2, 3 broken fins, and not a lot of memory in those fins. So what you do all the time, and I say this all the time, when you get a new outboard, unless you actually trust the guy, you at least change the impeller. That'll save your power head. On the subject of impellers, here's the impeller I'm using. Amazon, about, I don't know, like 17 bucks Canadian. All this stuff looks okay. The housing's fine. It will house the impeller. This plate looks good. It'll do what it's supposed to. There's this pin you don't want to lose here. You can see that. That could come out. It's not even like stuck in there. It's a very loose fit, so you don't want to lose that guy. I already went on about how I'd just run this for now without opening the gear case and see how it holds up, because I think it's fine. It's holding at 15 psi for about 10 minutes. I like to add grease to the tips and to the housing. That'll make it swirl a little easier when you go to install it. You'll see what I mean in a second. If you don't know, it doesn't matter which way the impeller goes, as long as you key it into here. And then the housing goes on the exact same way it came off. And now when you go to put the impeller on, you spin the drive shaft clockwise. And that will make the impeller turn, and the grease just helps it go in a bit better. And you press down on this housing, and soon it will all just slip into place like it is right now. There. You line up your screw holes. Don't tighten them down all the way just yet, but just get them lined up. And when you do tighten them up, you're not trying to impress the lower unit with your strength. You're just snugging them down and maybe a quarter turn. There, because you don't want to strip it. That's aluminum. It doesn't take much to strip it in. So yeah, that's the impeller installed. So we're going to put this guy back in the lower unit, and you'll get another view from afar as I do that. I forgot one thing, as I often do. Don't forget to put this O-ring back on your drive shaft. Like that. Okay, the hardest part about this is getting that guy in the drive shaft, but with enough messing around, it's not too complicated. You gotta make sure there's a water tube that's pointy. You wanna make sure you link in with that. So what I do is first I get the drive shaft, then I worry about the shift shaft. Shouldn't be that hard. So we try again. Oh, I see. This rubber bit. The water tube was getting into that, so I will pry that to look better. This screwdriver here. And I'll make sure that it'll slide in easier this time. Okay, so what I like to do is I just like to loosely put on a bolt while I get everything else together. Just get this one on finger tight. And call that. With the shift shaft, I have a pair of needle nose. Again, this is all in one of my previous videos on literally the exact same engine. So I hold the shift shaft with my needle nose, pull the shift lever down, and that usually seats it fine. Next bolt goes on, it's a 3/8. Sometimes it's a bolt with a slot in it for, oh, that guy won't work. Sometimes it's a bolt with a slot in it for a screwdriver. Sometimes just a straight up bolt. Whatever it is, at the least it's 3/8. Again, just snug it up and call it a day. So this bolt's 9/16. The other two, 4 are 7/16. Third, fourth, no. Replace this guy. Make sure our shifter works. So forward. That works. Neutral. No movement. Reverse. Yeah. Reverse. Okay. So that all works. It all syncs up good. Last but not least, I must put on the propeller. Here's our part number for the propeller pins, the shear pins. I got them in a lot of 10. I'm glad I did. Because who doesn't like a good shear pin when you shear one, right? And that's just, you put on the propeller until it lines up with the pin. You don't put this guy on super tight. It's just to hold the prop down where it's supposed to be. It doesn't get a lot of pressure. And get yourself stainless steel cotter pins, or reuse the one that it came with. In this instance, I did not have, it didn't come with a cotter pin. So use stainless steel ones and then line it up through the holes. That's how you change the impeller. Carburetor's next. Just a carb clean away from working in. Okay, we are ready for this. We'll start by getting the bowl off. Five screws. Come on, man. These aren't on very tight. Hopefully there's nothing weird and wild going on in there. That's not bad. A little varnishy, but it'll clear up. Bit of ultrasonic and some brake cleaner will sort that right out. Okay. And there's this plug here. This isn't a jet or anything, it's just like blocks a passage that had to be drilled through. It's called the orifice plug. It plugs an orifice. And I just dropped it. And I found it. Oh, yeah. Okay. So that's some brake clean percolating here. Gasket. So I'm going to change the float, but I don't like the needles and seats that come with these. They're too odd. I like to use the old ones. And they usually clean up. Now when you get the seat out, you want to use the needle seat. You want to use the biggest screwdriver you can that will span both sides. There's a little nylon washer that comes with it. This whole thing looks pretty clean though. And you got your, I don't know if you call this your main jet or emulsion tube or whatever. But this comes out. And you got to make sure that's clear. This is clear, but I will clean it. And this gasket is a replacement. This one's pretty crunchy now, so I'm going to replace that with the kit. I think that's about as far as I want to tear it down. Oh, yes, the packing. Get yourself a suitable, because this thing's going in the ultrasonic, so we're going to replace the packing in there. It's just a matter of digging it out. You got to be careful that you don't annihilate the threads around it. It's better to do it when it's dry-ish, because that way you're not trying to pick out a slurry. It's what it turns to after a bath in the ultrasonic. almost got it. So you see bare metal now. And you just need that to seal against the packing gland. The way it is, you turn down your high speed or low speed needles, and the way these things work is after you get them set, you tighten down these little nuts that surround the seals around it. That way it smooshes it all together and forms a seal around the needle. That's as far as I'm going to tear this down. We're going to put it in the ultrasonic now, along with all the bits and bobs. Then blow it out with some brake clean. But everything seems clear, which is nice. Cool. Dropping things today. Okay, let's put all this stuff in there. Oh, I gotta get this high speed, this packing it too. We'll do that. It's the same process. It's the same stuff, exact same parts, or same seals, I guess. It's just scraping it out. Taking it easy on the threads that surround it all. So I see bare metal now. Okay, ultrasonic. Okay, so I got everything out of the ultrasonic. It's nice and hot now, and just about to hit these up with a wipe down and some brake cleaner just to blow through all the orifices there. Some old packing still. Yuck. Okay. I also have all the parts that we'll be using from my carb kit. There's the packing nuts, the new float. We're going to reuse the old seat. All right, I got everything out of the ultrasonic cleaner. It's all still nice and warm. So now it's just a matter of blowing through all the jets with brake cleaner. I like to give it a coat of WD-40 or something like that, but yeah, there's not much to this. It's just putting the carburetor back together. Check the discs. These packing nuts. So it's 3 packing nuts per needle jet. So first, you stack these washers on your needle. So this and this. And the nylon one is the one that the packing gland will bear down on. So you just got to get them on there. And once you do that, you can thread it where it's got to go. And they'll all thread on. When you bottom this one out, with this nylon deal, you got to make it, got to tuck it under the first few threads. And once it catches a thread, you should be good. This will work. There. Catching threads all day long now. Now this should be able to bottom out. Yeah, and there it is. Okay, so that one's good. We'll have to tighten it up later, but that's fine for now. Just to get it all back together. And this will have to come off when we put it all in, but we'll get there. Needle and seat, new float. Can't forget that. We gotta blow it out first. That's clear. And as indicated before, you want a screwdriver that will span both sides of this part and just get it in nice and snug and it won't go anywhere. So with the needle, you want to polish the end because it's got to make a seal in this seat. This goes with the big end, I guess we'll call it, facing down. Then we'll have to check our float level after we get that installed. So right now it's all, that's no good. It should be level with the body of the carb, so we'll have to bend that. Just straighten it out. And it's nothing scientific, it's just actually literally bend it. And then keep trying until you get the float level. It's a little crooked still, but better. So that's pretty good. Now next is this gasket here. It goes on the emulsion tube, which we must clear with the brake cleaner. That's the sign of me clearing it. You just gotta make sure all the holes are clear. And there's no tiny little jets on this guy, so it's a pretty easy day. And go until that seats. Then this one goes on. I always get this mixed up, which way it's supposed to go. I think it's the side with the grooves down. So we have our float, or the bowl. Want to make sure those lanes are clear. So a bit of brake cleaner through here. Then we can put this guy on. Oh, gasket. I use this gasket. Try this new one. See how it goes. If it wants to go. So new gasket on. Float bowl on. Let's check to see if I missed anything. We got this emulsion tube, or this other tube here. We have the orifice plug that can go on after. And I'm going to screw this guy down. Now when you tighten this up, you want to kind of do it in a cross-ish fashion. And that's just so you hit the seal evenly, or the gasket evenly. And you don't compress one side. And down somewhere else. This one's a little sluggish, but really, this one's the same. This one's very long. And then some down, like that. Perfect. That's. Okay, our little plug here. And we're just snugging this one down. Okay. Okay, the float moving. So when I turn this upside down, I should not be able to blow through it. That's the sound of me not being able to blow through it. When I flip it back up, I should be able to blow through it. Which means our our needle and seat are seating properly with the float bowl. Great. So let's slap this guy back on the engine. Okay, so I threw the carburetor back on, and we're about to start this guy for real. For the first time, I got some oil in the lower unit. See how it pumps water, it goes in and out of gear, and I'll try and figure out the idle, but let's not get ahead of ourselves. I'm using the usual primer here. Hopefully this fuel pump works. See if I have to cheat or not and push gas on the cylinders. I'm ready to do. All right, seems full. Let's see if it wants to play. Hey. Might try different plugs, see if that it'll run any better, but so far pretty happy with that. Okay, we're trying this with different plugs. So yeah, I'll leave it here. I guess next we'll